Bonjour, nous sommes dans la partie ici en BC4, les adversaires de Iulian Ciobanu et Marco Dispaltro dans la catégorie BC4. Et aujourd'hui, j'attends un invité spécial pour m'aider avec le reportage de cette partie. Je vais être joint par Alison Levine. Ici, elle est à Montréal en convalescence pour une blessure. Puis, on va voir Alison bientôt. On a réussi, bonjour Alison, on a réussi de pouvoir connecter et virtuellement t'apporter à partager cette expérience avec nous malgré que tu n'es pas ici en ce moment. Alison, can you give us a little bit of a background? What's going on with you right now that you're not able to participate in this national championship?
Yeah, I mean, it seems I have bad luck with Canadian championships because every time there's a Canadian championships, I tend to get an injury. I had to pull out in the middle of last time, and this time I didn't even make it to Quebec City. But the importance is we have a big international competition coming up in 2 weeks in Brazil, so we're giving my body adequate time to rest.
Jeez. Sorry, Alison. Well, I'm not sure if everybody can hear you right now. We're going to do a little bit of a sound check. I cannot hear her. So I couldn't hear you, so sorry. I'm glad everybody else could. So we're going to try to rectify that because it's important I be able to hear your comments so we can do this together. So again, I'm sure you explained that you're recovering from an injury, and it's better to take the time to recover because your career is up there. You're a busy lady. You're involved. I mean, you just came back from the Paralympics in Tokyo, and that was an amazing experience for you, I'm sure. We're going to wait here. I think that the warm-up, Alison, can you say a couple words here for us so I can make sure that I can do a little channel check before we start?
Yeah, sure.
Now I can hear you.
Now she can hear me. Cool.
Okay, cool. So again, like as I was saying, your experience in Tokyo, can you explain to how that was for you?
Looking back, I guess I still have mixed emotions on it in that it was not the result I wanted individually or in pairs. You know, I was ranked #1 in the world going into the competition, so I was hoping to end up on the podium. Individually, it wasn't a great competition. It was a whole mix of things, and not having competed for 22 months, that really was difficult to get over because of COVID. And in pairs, we actually had our best competition in a really long time. Well, our only competition in a really long time. But looking back at the statistics from Tokyo and our previous competitions, we did really, really well. And just the way the competition was structured and the way how one team beat this other team, we ended up in 9th place. But we're very proud of how we played. And there's these little things that need improvement and a few strategic decisions, but we're talking maybe one ball per entire game that made the difference at this high level.
Well, that's what we know about the Paralympics. It's such a high competition. It doesn't take much for like a team to have that edge. Well, right now we're going to start the game, and these are your teammates, right? So we're going to comment on this game, and so as you know, is a first ball for Iulian here, and we'll see what do you know about your teammate here.
Iulian il est un joueur extrêmement précis. Probablement la plupart de ses premières balles vont être parfaites dans la ligne de Marco. Ici c'est un peu court, mais je pense que ça bloque bien la ligne de Marco.
Exactement. So the Iulian's first ball he might have wanted it a little closer, but it's definitely in line with his opponent Marco. So we're hoping that Marco may need two balls to move this, but or maybe just one.
And one thing you'll see a big difference with the BC4s is that look at Marco all the way back in his box in order to get a better angle to the jack. That's something that with our smaller wheelchairs, we have that advantage as well. And it's become automatic for us as well. The minute it's our turn to play, we think about all our angles in our box. So here Marco, because he went with the placement, it tells me that he is open to the jack and confident that he can hit it. He was just a little bit too far to his right.
Okay. And now maybe he's setting up. There are a lot of BC4s. You don't go right away. You're not jack driven. You set up the play, thinking about how can I use this next ball, and I think that he might be setting up something that he would like to do is probably push that forward and the two balls to follow, and there it is. He didn't follow, but he did get a good push. Donc il a réussi à pousser sa balle. Donc maintenant sa balle couvre le cochonnet et maintenant, ton travail est accompli. So talking about those chairs, that was a pretty neat chair that Marco is rolling around with, I'm telling you.
Marco's always styling.
I like to have those wheels on my own vehicle right now.
Oh, yeah, he's always styling, of course.
Bon, voilà. And, okay, goes with a powerful shot, trying to get that ball away from the jack, kind of even creating a little bit of space. So
he wanted to create a little bit more space to be able to then filter his ball in. So he's probably going to go again with a little bit. Exactly. That's exactly what he wanted.
Okay.
Beaucoup de temps, tu vas avoir des athlètes qui vont ouvrir le jeu, mais trop fort que le balle qu'ils vont déplacer va aller trop loin. Nous, on essaie de garder le jeu plus serré. Parce que là, maintenant, Iulian, il a un plus gros cible pour mettre sa balle rouge direct sur le cochonnet.
Exact.
Là, pas le bon résultat, mais...
Ouais. Je remarque que BC4, like Allison was saying, that they tend to keep the game tight. The balls you're never going to see a lot of space. There's always a lot of traffic around the jack. And because it gives them an opportunity to use the balls that are there for different purposes. And there it is. Okay, so that was the one that was able to... All his balls have been thrown, so I don't know. Looks like I don't know who has the point right now, but I'm thinking the blue is still scoring.
Yeah, to me it seems that way. Iulian's not going to be happy about that. Iulian's a player who likes to take the point back as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Create what we call des revirements. Leaving Marco with a few balls. Pretty much in our classification, if you leave your opponent with a bunch of balls at the end, you know that they're going to end up making points. So could be some nerves, early in the morning. It's, I think, the first time Marco's playing Iulian in this competition. So we'll see what happens if Iulian settles down a bit in the next few ends, which I'm sure he will.
Again, if Marco successfully puts in a couple of points here, because I'm looking at him probably trying to pop up that, that's exactly what I thought he was going to do. Push that jack back, create some space, and then park a couple on either side of that. Donc,
so Marco est allé pour le lob.
Le lob pour
sorry, Monique.
No worries. So Marco, c'est ça. Il a utilisé le lob pour bouger le cochonnet, pour se faire de l'espace. Il est très stratégique. Tous ses balles sont pensées. Il n'y a jamais une balle qui est placée par Marco qui n'est pas pensée, ou Iulian et même Allison. You guys are always thinking a couple of shots ahead.
That's why I'm sure Iulian would have liked to put a ball in the rear, what we call back protection, to avoid Marco doing that lob. Marco just kind of touched the jack, so he created a bit of separation. I expect him now to place a ball on the side and then either push it or ricocheting for a second point.
What do you think? Too long, or that's is he happy with that?
No, actually he went for a flop, I see. So he went to have his ball hit in front of the reds and jump over. Ooh, nice. Oh, but is it too long?
Yeah. It was probably took a bad bounce. There has been some comments about the flooring surface here, having a little bit of difficulty adjusting, but I know that it's the same floor for everybody. But this is a new floor for the athletes. It's a brand new, and apparently it's movable and stackable, and so. But there's been some mixed reviews on it.
I remember we had these same courts in Kansas City, and it was a little bit. It was very different to play on than a regular gym floor, for sure.
Yeah. I think that the players with the most difficulty right now are finding that the ramp players are having the most difficulty because they have to use all that floor and distance for rolling the ball, and apparently it's been affecting their aim. Maybe a thrower won't be as affected by it because it doesn't often not using a lot of floor surface to roll the ball.
Yeah.
So we have here, il mesure pour voir quel...
One thing to remember as well, that
yeah.
when you're on the court playing, you have a very different perspective than someone sitting at the end of the court.
Oh, absolutely.
So for them, it may be completely obvious, while for us, it looks completely the other way around.
Oh yes, and Alice and I have had to work on the right and the left, and because from my vantage point, I have to think about it. Okay, it's the opening on the right and the left. So it was only one here. Did we see?
Yeah, one blue.
I think one blue, eh? Final decision.
It's that blue on the side, actually.
Yeah, that counted.
Scoring.
I guess his last shot was just a little bit too strong, and then he was anticipating.
And Marco's a very confident player in his skills. In the first end, he went for what I would call a pretty high-risk shot. He knew the chances of giving the point to Iulian, it was possible to give the point to Iulian, but he's thinking, first end, worst I can do is give him 1 point. There's still 3 ends left. I'm fine going for a high-risk, high-reward situation.
Yes. So he weighs the outcome and makes that decision based on what the possible outcomes will be. And this time he won. He got a point. He didn't lose anything. There was nothing to lose. So now he's taking... We always have some time between ends for the athletes to regroup. Sometimes it seems like it's a long time, but it's about 30 seconds I think they get. I often don't... 1 minute between them ends, because I didn't look at I very seldom look at the clock, so for that purpose. But here we go.
And let me tell you, when you're playing in pairs or in teams, you have still only 1 minute. Assistants or coach need to pick up the balls, and if there's a substitution as well, 1 minute is not enough time.
Not a long time, no, for sure.
No.
In teams, it should be more. Yeah. So here we go with the first ball. What do you think? He's happy with that, or kind of like...
Knowing Marco, he's thinking, oh, darn. I think Iulian... if it's as close as I think, Iulian will go to open it, but I believe he has space just to place his red ball directly between the white and the blue, but it's hard to tell from here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, because me too, I see that he's covering it a bit. So he opened it up. He said, that's it. Yeah. This one is bothering me, let's get it out of the way. Donc, il est allé pour la pousser, dégager, puis là, maintenant, il aspire à son prochain lancer de vraiment mettre sa balle sur le cochonnet.
And this is also, this is what we call, not what we call, this is that last shot from Iulian was great, because most people are thinking, oh, he opened his access. Yes, but look where his red ball landed behind.
Yeah.
So Iulian is very strong in his capacity to lob. And later on in the game, here he missed his placement. So if Marco covers the jack, if you look at the angle of Iulian in his box, if Iulian lobs, it's going directly onto the red.
Ouais, c'est ça. Donc, encore, c'est très, très tôt. On ne peut jamais, avec les BC4, déterminer qu'est-ce qui va se passer, parce qu'ils ont tellement de lancers, une variété de lancers dans leurs arsenals. Et comme Alison expliquait, oui, là, Marco a couvert le cochonnet, mais il y a toujours le lob, il y a toujours la possibilité avec la balle rouge en arrière et la puissance des lancers des BC4 pour venir échanger la donne. Et ensuite, en plus, il serait protégé. Donc, on va voir qu'est-ce que Yann va faire avec ce lancer. And like you predicted, exactement, qu'est-ce que tu avais prédit? Textbook, perfect. Vous voyez là maintenant, oui, le cochonnet peut-être de l'angle ici de Marco, mais Marco peut faire n'importe quoi avec la balle. Marco's pretty versatile, and he still can probably tip it over. At this point, is there any strategies in the head about like pushing the jack out, or is that something that's probably not an option right now?
No, not at this point. The jack isn't super close to the line. The jack isn't super close to the V either. Marco would have a hard time displacing that. The only way he'd be able to get it out would be with a lob. And he wouldn't want to waste one of his balls
No, it's
to get
not
it out.
necessary at this point for sure. It's not a...
Yeah. So right now he's trying to figure out the distance between his blue and the jack to see if he's going to go for a push or not.
I understand.
Even
And with
the
the balls that he
veterans-
has, too, eh? He has to think about
Exactly.
les balles qu'il a dans son arsenal, qu'est-ce qui lui reste, la distance, est-ce que ça va valoir la peine de prendre cette balle-là pour une poussée, a push and a stick, which would be ideal. So we'll
And I
what
see
he
he's
does.
taken his harder ball, so that's what he's going to go do.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
And he was successful.
Ça, c'est une situation parfaite pour Marco, parce que Iulian, il est pas mal bloqué en avant. Alors, ça va prendre des lobes ou des flops.
C'est
Peut-être
ça.
dans le coin dans sa boîte, là, il sera capable. Je pense que oui. Il va aller pour le slice sur le cochonnet pour pousser la balle blanche sur sa rouge.
Puis encore ici, la puissance, c'est trop fort. S'il manque son coup, on a une balle à l'extérieur. Et la balle est sortie, mais il a quand même fait un contact avec le cochonnet. So he was able to get a piece of the jack, maybe not as much as he would have liked to, but definitely did create some space. So now the blue ball is no longer touching the jack. See what he does with this one. And
Perfect shot.
perfect shot. He's probably, well, he's scoring right now, so we know that.
Yep.
So Marco, maintenant, three balls remaining.
Yeah, so Marco's in a ball advantage situation, which is something we're always thinking of as well. But he's in a tricky situation because he's got one in front and one right in the back. I assume he might just play on that blue a little bit, maybe try to get a 1-1, maybe get the point back. But just make sure that Iulian does not score more than 1 point in this end.
For sure. So obviously trying to keep those balls close. Donc Marco maintenant, c'est comme soit qu'il reprend le point en collant sa bleue sur le cochonnet, ou bien garder ses balles très très proches pour éviter que Iulian compte plus que 1 ou 2 points max. Mais là, comme ça, là, c'est juste 1. Et voilà. Il a déplacé sa bleue. Je ne sais pas si ça compte, mais là, maintenant, il a quelque chose à pousser sa prochaine balle. So is that like a kind of a place where he can bounce his next shot off of those two?
Yeah,
Like a
I'm
backboard
not exactly
a bit,
sure.
Allison?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that was, but I like that he's given himself, like you said, a little backboard on his blue that he can place another ball in there. You know, sometimes, even though I have lots of experience now, sometimes Marco has these ideas in his head and these shots that no one else sees, not even me. And then he'll execute it, and he'll execute, and you're just like, wow, that's
Where did that
magic.
come from?
So, exactly.
Perfect. Ouais, c'est ça. Marco, lui, comme c'est très, très un homme cérébral, et il pense toujours. Et puis, comme Allison elle disait, elle dit, il peut sortir quelque chose qu'on n'a jamais vu, puis on dit, OK, on pense que c'était pour ça, mais il concède peut-être ici, Iulian en autre. Iulian, lui, encore, il est bloqué par la bleue. He's blocked by that blue in front and the red, but don't want to play too hard. He's going to ask for confirmation on the score, which is a smart move.
Yeah.
Because he
It's
wants to
either
see
one or
if
the
he
referee
has the
showed
one
either
or the
one or
two.
two.
Looks like a
Yeah.
2 right now. Yeah. So he's a 2-pointer. Not sure. He's going to come out and see, which is another strategy that the BC4 do very well, is come out and look at the situation. So you can...
We do get called out on that in practice quite a bit. Sometimes we like to say we're lazy, but in reality, we're in manual wheelchairs, the three of us. So sometimes, we have a hard time pushing ourselves. And sometimes, in competition, we're pretty good. But in practice, sometimes we kind of cheat a little bit.
But I know in practice. But let me see what he's going to do here. And, nice little hop.
Beautiful shot.
That was beautiful. Wow. So, looks like he's got 3 there.
Yeah.
Good job. So that was a very, very good end for Iulian. He took control of this situation and stayed calm. Donc, un très beau, belle manche ici. Iulian, il prend l'avance ici par un point. So,
Par 2 points.
par 2
C'est
points.
3-1.
Excuse-moi, c'est
Ouais.
3-1. Excusez-moi. Parce que j'ai pas toujours, je peux pas voir the scoreboard is not that clear to me.
Yeah.
And so what we saw here is lots of patience, perfectly executed shots, athletes, taking their time. I wanted to ask you, Alison. I know that right now I think they're, because of COVID, they're getting a little assistance to go out on the court, but that's not a general thing, right? Is there always somebody helping you guys push the chair out if you want to go see the play?
No, unfortunately,
No,
it's one of the things we requested of the Boccia International
I think it's
Sports
pretty
Federation.
Cool.
Honestly, it's very important to protect the shoulders of the athletes in manual
Yeah.
chairs. It's about 50-50, I'd say, in the BC4 category of motorized chairs versus manual.
Okay.
For that reason alone, moving around in our box is hard enough.
So let's say
without
somebody
the
who's in
COVID assistant, normally what we do is we raise our hand, and either the referee has to come get us, or the lines person. So it wastes a lot of time.
Exactly. So that's what I'm finding it pretty interesting. I know it's about the COVID assist is because of COVID, but having that right away, somebody to attend as soon as you are asked to go out and play, right away giving you that assistance. I think it's a nice option, and you're not at a disadvantage because you're in a manual chair. So here we go with the top of the third end here. We'll see Iulian placing his ball really close to the V, playing the short game. There. I think he might be happy with that. He might have wanted a little bit to the right. What do you think?
Yeah. That's the thing with us BC4s is that we're really hard on ourselves. I guess someone who's not as experienced or maybe seeing Boccia for the first time, they're thinking, oh, that's an amazing shot. But if I'm Iulian in my head, I'm going, darn, I missed it. Because we really search for the perfect shot.
Yes, and I was with Cesar yesterday, and he explained about how they like what part of the ball is it. 50% of the ball is covered, 80%. We want 100% of the ball covered. Covered means covered to your opponent. It may be covered to you, but if it's not covered to your opponent, it'll be easy to get, the opponent's not forced to take more than one ball to beat that shot. So that's the goal, is to make them dish out a couple balls before they can beat your shot.
Yeah.
So
even if you have a perfect first ball, mostly everybody in the BC4 class is going to be able to open it. So I like to kind of tell myself that as long as they have to use a ball to open up, I've done my job.
See, he had to use a ball to open, and now a ball to beat the shot. So it's two balls, right? And now is he scoring? We're not sure. He has to check. So maybe going up to a third ball to make this shot, if he didn't successfully do it with his second. So it was a good jack. It was a good first ball.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He used two. Marco a utilisé 2 balles pour contrer la première balle de Iulian, et donc ça c'est bon. Maintenant,
I just have to give my teammates a little bit of a hard time,
Oh yes, definitely.
So Iulian will open himself up as well.
Okay.
Blue is still closer, but he doesn't mind because he's seeing the jack now. A lot of people, when they start Boccia, when they're beginning, they think that if you push an opponent's ball closer to the jack, it's a bad thing. But really the important thing here is to remember to create space for yourself so you can cover the jack. The blue was already scoring, so we don't care if it's even closer.
Yes, c'est exactement ça. Donc, il n'y a pas d'inquiétude. Même si on a poussé la bleue vers le cochonnet, c'est pas grave parce qu'on vient d'ouvrir le jeu. Puis là, maintenant, avec cette balle, il a vraiment juste enveloppé le cochonnet. C'est sûr que c'est pas terminé parce que Marco, c'est un joueur de haut niveau et ça, c'est pas quelque chose qui va 100% l'inquiéter, mais c'est un bon travail de Iulian de forcer Marco a utilisé plusieurs balles pour déplacer ça. Et encore, le but, en boccia, la balle peut être assez proche que tu n'as pas besoin d'avoir une largeur de balle. D'abord, c'est la balle qui est la plus proche qui compte. C'est ça qui est important. Right? So that ball it can be a proximity, but if it's you got one that's closer, it scores.
Exactly, effectivement.
And there he's pushed his blue because from his vantage point, he went out and see that all he needed maybe is a little push to put his ball back into the scoring position, right?
Exactly. He was in ball advantage as well. So when you're in that situation, you want your opponent to throw the remainder of his balls. So instead of going and opening up the game and having to use his balls, he's just going to go for the small little push,
just a little
and then have Iulian throw.
There it is. Yeah. And we noticed that the referee here used the light beam to see if it comes across, right? And that's how close these balls are.
Yeah. They used to use a piece of paper to see if it passed, but athletes weren't too fond of that because it did, in fact, move the balls. Yes. So now they use the flashlight to look for the shadow if there's light passing or not.
Right. So they that's how that light came about. I remember the times where the sheet of paper would come out, but now using the light beam more effective. So Iulian was able to move Marco's ball, kick it off, and now he's in the scoring position. So see how many. So Marco has 3, and Iulian only has one ball left. So again, I think it's a bit of an advantage for Marco because he was so efficient at creating a turnover with each of his balls, right?
C'est ça, Marco va essayer de reprendre le point le plus vite possible.
C'est ça.
Je pense qu'il y a le ricochet sur sa propre bleue.
Oui.
Là, tu vois Marco, il ferme ses yeux, il visualise son shot. So there you take a look at Marco, he just closed his eyes. He took a deep breath to visualize his shot.
Yes. So in his head, the shot is already... Yeah, so the shot's already in his head, the shot's already made, it's already successful. So imagery, using mental preparation, again, another very important part of the training, the athletes, seeing yourself being successful is the outcome is exactly what he wanted.
Yep. And Marco played a little bit riskier than I thought he would, but successful, and Iulian now has to throw his last ball.
Yeah. Okay. So at this point, Marco will come out and see.
I hear Mary Lou was just happy with one of her shots in the background.
Yes, we have quite a well. There's a casting on the 2 courts, court 1 and 2, which is nice, and people will be able to see the games. And we're just commenting on court 1. Can't split me in 2 places.
Yeah, you do. I do notice that in Canada, we are very reserved. We don't yell out as much. We don't celebrate as much. In this case, Marco and Iulian, we're teammates, right? We're from the same province. We play for the same country. So as much as every single game, we want to win. Don't get me wrong. But you won't see us yelling out big celebrations or anything out of respect for our opponent, because in this case, it's our teammate as well.
And you find if, like during a game, I mean, it's important to stay calm though. They wouldn't add like maybe sometimes like too much celebration would get you off your game. You need to be kind of in that zone. You can be happy inside, but again, I find that you guys say so calm. Well, from the exterior, as we were looking, you find that you guys are just like nothing phases you. You're not showing any emotion. Is that something you practice?
It really depends. Some people do better in international competitions. Iulian and I, you will see us do a little fist bump after, like to ourselves,
Okay.
After a good placement, Iulian will often yell, "We." I will be like, "Yep." It comes out naturally. It's good to celebrate because it gives yourself that kind of boost and
Okay.
confidence. It also kind of not in the bad way, but I guess intimidates in a way a little bit your opponent. But obviously, if you let it overtake you, or
No.
you start playing on emotion, then you have an issue.
So we see that Marco was able to bring the point back to himself on that last shot. So he advances at the score of 3-2. So we are in the fourth end. It's anybody's game, definitely. And so again, ball for ball, turnovers for turnovers, very effective use of every shot. That's what we will see here throughout this entire game. That's why the score will remain very close, back down to the last ball. Anything to add about what you saw in this last end, Allison?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Overall?
high level play. It's back and forth. Afterwards, each athlete is going to be wanting to have taken the point back quicker. I know my teammates, when they had the opportunity, Marco's going to say too many balls. That's what he always says. But overall, you have to expect that in competition, you don't play as high as you do in training. Some people do, but in general, you don't. And they both probably have to be proud of themselves for a really, really tight end.
Okay, so now we're starting the last end with Marco sending out his jack. And now the time for the first ball. See what he decides to do. Again, I see his closing his eyes. That's news to me. I'm glad that you brought that up. And he says okay, but I think he's looking at it, going, "You dirty rascal."
Yeah.
You dirty
That's
rascal.
Marco. He's always very hard on himself.
I mean, it is a close game, and he's down by one. And I'm like, both opponents here, in spite of for the love and respect for each other, they just want to win this game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I find those that I call it the T-bar or the I. I just find it hard from this end to see him who's closer, because it's really like looks like it's pretty close. From
Yeah,
this vantage
sometimes
point,
it's
looks like the
impossible to
blue.
tell.
To me, looked like the blue was closer, but it's good that he checks, because it can be wrong.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, a good referee, when they're not certain, are
they,
going to measure, and that's
when
what we
in
want
doubt,
as
measure.
athletes.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. That's important. It's respect for when in doubt, measure. There's no harm in that, and it makes for a better refereed game, and definitely.
Yeah. Important thing to note for the beginners out there is that at the end of the day, it's always the athlete's responsibility.
Yep.
Referees do make mistakes. We're not working with computers, so there is human error. So
Oh
if
yes.
you are not certain, you go on court. If ever there's an issue, it's your right to call the head referee. But always remember that it's your responsibility to do so.
C'est ça. Allison expliquait que c'est malgré que l'arbitre est un bon arbitre va vouloir mesurer puis tout ça pour s'assurer à lui, mais c'est la responsabilité ultime de l'athlète. Si l'athlète pense qu'il ne doit pas se fier sur l'arbitre, c'est son travail de s'assurer qu'il va vérifier, demande pour une mesuration, demande pour une vérification. C'est le travail de l'athlète. Ce n'est pas la responsabilité de l'arbitre. L'arbitre va faire ce qu'il a besoin de faire pour être l'arbitre, mais l'athlète doit faire aussi son travail. Donc, on va voir ici, Marco se prépare pour son prochain lancer.
think he got some separation there.
Okay.
Those back reds
Again,
are
those back reds
definitely
are
playing
kind of
in Marco's head.
a little
Yep.
security blanket there for Iulian for sure. Like that, those back, there's two back there, and you know you can't be as aggressive with your lob.
And
I think
balls in the back really do play in the head of your opponent.
absolutely, especially with the BC4 because they're really able to push the jack or move the jack around. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's trying to get a piece of that jack to push it towards his kind of like tuck it in behind his ball and create more space there. What are you thinking, Allison? What it's in?
Yeah,
his
I think
head?
he was going for, we call it a slice. So just
Yeah.
a little piece of the jack to spin it to the right. Now he's reconsidering. I wonder if he sees the back reds in order to just place one of his blue balls on the back red to kind of cancel out that back protection.
Yes.
But I'm not sure if he has the angle or not.
Well, he needs to create a point for himself to tie up this game.
Yeah.
And there you go. Maybe. Donc, il est allé avec un peu plus des lancers. Il a essayé quelques lancers plus agressifs, mais il avait encore à considérer les deux balles en arrière. Et là, maintenant, il est allé avec deux balles plus sécuritaires, essayer peut-être pousser la sienne vers le cochonnet pour voir si ça a été réussi. Mais il lui reste une balle, donc c'est ce dernier lancé, ça a réussi de le mettre plus près du cochonnet. So that was the last ball he threw, put him in a scoring position.
Yeah, Marco did what he had to do there. He got the point back.
Yeah.
He's probably not feeling great right now because
he has just one ball left, right?
And he knows in this situation that he has to count on his opponent making a mistake versus him making a good shot, and you never want to be in that situation.
No. And right away, Iulian with the following shot was able to get his ball to score. So
yeah, just a little push up on his red to get that point back.
Yeah, advantage Iulian, that's for sure. Donc avec une balle, Iulian est déjà en position de pointage. Maintenant, on va voir qu'est-ce que Marco va pouvoir faire avec ceci.
It's time for one of those magic Marco shots. What he was trying to do here was he was trying to push up his blue and have his blue that he's thrown tumble over the top and sit directly on the back reds, but it didn't quite go.
No, it went awry to the right there.
Now, as you can see, veterans here also do make mistakes. Iulian should go out and see, go out and see the situation. You know, he had two balls left with 2.5 minutes.
I agree.
But sometimes you get in your head. I mean, he's pretty sure that he knew that he wants to do a lob, and sometimes you feel it and you want to get it over with. But I would have taken the time to go see.
Okay. So I think he probably felt pretty sure about his next two shots and the scoring situation. But again, the blue's close. Again, I would agree with you. Je suis d'accord avec toi. Personnellement, j'aurais aimé qu'il aille voir. Parce que des fois, ça peut nous jouer des tours. Donc, on va mesurer.
Oh, is it one blue?
Ben, c'est ça, je te dis. That's what I'm saying. I mean,
yeah.
It was, I think, with the point for sure, I don't know if he needed to shoot those extra two.
Yeah.
Because
in this situation though, it is a round robin tournament where they play each other.
Oh, I know.
Everyone plays each other twice.
I know the point differential counts, but
yeah. But exactly, in a tight situation, if he for sure had the point, I'm a little bit more conservative in my play. I would have probably dropped. The boys, as I call them, will often go for extra points. When we play in pairs, you'll see us sometimes going back and forth a little bit on Cartming, saying, no, drop your balls, and then going, no, let's go for it. But that's a personal preference, obviously.
Yeah, I understand. So what's the outcome?
It's close.
Oh. And like I mean, obviously we don't know what the outcome. It may be just us worrying about the point, but when this any kind of game, when there's that turnover, let's say it ends up being positive, and for Marco, I mean, it sends you in an extra end, kind of like, ugh, some athletes can't psychologically recover from that, and maybe give them their next and like just the outcome of the game is totally changed. But we'll see here what the referee has decided.
I think I saw one red, actually. Yeah, it's one red.
Okay, so he erred on on aggressiveness, and he ended up scoring another point. So it's a victory.
Probably a little sigh of relief right now.
Yeah,
for
going, oh, phew, that was a close one. Okay, so we have the final score here for 4-2 for Iulian Ciobanu, and I apologize if I mispronounce his name, poor guy. And Allison, it was awesome to have you help me anchor and report on this game. With your experience, it's always a pleasure. We'll look at hopefully in the future for other games to get you involved, and your insight is really, really appreciated. So overall, this game, you think, what's Marco feeling right now, you think?
I mean, you're an athlete, you always want to win. So you just want to,
Does he feel like he maybe
okay, what could I have done better?
Yeah, could have done better.
Could have done better, but the important part is next game is probably in a few hours, is to put this one in a box, file it away, and get on with the next one, because you lose a game, but competition's still not over. So
exactly, and so I'm again thanking you again for joining me, and I agree it was a great match between these two amazing high-level players, and we wish you all the best in your recovery, so that we can see you in action again shortly. What's the next competition that you think will you be at the Défi? Was that the next thing coming up for you guys? That's only in April. Do you have
well,
anything
we actually
in between?
leave for
you're leaving,
for our regional championships in Brazil. After the Canadian championships end, we leave in 10 days. So
okay, so you'll be ready for that. Hopefully recovered a little
fingers
bit.
crossed, toes crossed. Everyone send your good vibes, but I should be good.
We are going to be sending your good vibes so that you can be able to recover for this for Brazil. Take care. We'll see you soon. Take care, Allison.
Awesome. Thank you, Monique.
Bye-bye.
Bye.